Hello, in this lecture we will be taking a look at Chapter 3 and we will be moving on through this workbook. Remember that the file that we will be using will be, once again, Larry Landscaping. So the same file we've been using for Chapters 1 and 2 will be the same file. Therefore, in order to open this file, all we need to do, there's a couple ways we could do it. We can open the QuickBooks file, look for the actual data file, which happens to be in, for me, in the data files here. Double click on that. That should open the program just as a Word file would, or you can open the program first and then look for the data file. If you open the program, it generally will open to this page and you'll have the files that could be opened in the quick reference area here, and you could check Larry Landscaping. I generally like to open the file tab. Later on we'll have multiple tabs that could be the same or similar in name. It's very easy to open the wrong one. So if we go to the File tab, which will be open even if another window is open, and go to Open or Restore, we can then find exactly the file that we are looking for. And I'm going to select Next. I'm going to go to the desktop. I'm going to scroll down to our QuickBooks folder, and we're on the data files, and I'm going to click Larry Landscaping here. Now once you open this, you might have all this stuff open from your prior worksheet. So notice we have all these files that I left open from the last time we were working on these. You may want to go through here and just close these out. You can just close these out individually. You could go to Windows up here in the drop down and say Close All. That'll close everything. If you still want the Home tab open, then you can go over here and open the Home tab and be back to this fresh page with nothing in the open windows, so that we can start from scratch. If you do not have this open windows open on the side over here, I suggest doing so. You go to the View tab up top and select the open windows in order to open that tab. Alright, so I'm going to scroll down. Once again, you should read through the scenario, push the pause button, read through the scenario. I'm going to skip down to the activities, which are going to be in the gray areas. First objective being on page 44 to create a standard income statement. So we're going to open Larry Landscaping Garden, which we have done so. Number 2 says Open Report Center, click the Standard tab, and then click the Company and Financial, and then double click the Profit and Loss. Change the date from to 10/1, the date to 10/31. Alright, so I'm going to go to QuickBooks. Going to go back to the reports. Once again, we can go to the reports over here in the reports area. If it opens in a small window, we're going to maximize that window. The standard default will be to the Company and Financials. If yours open to the Memorize tab or something up top, we want to be on the Standard tab. If you want to then see this in List View, once again, you can go to the side over here. You see these 3 lines. That stands for the List View. And the first financials in the Company and Financials is called the Profit and Loss. That is what QuickBooks calls the income statement. So we need to get used to this terminology difference that we have between QuickBooks software, means different softwares, and financial accounting. Someone asked me for an income statement, and we use QuickBooks. We're looking for generally the profit and loss. And we want to open the standard profit and loss. That should be the first one. We're going to go ahead and run this. So we have the profit and loss standard. Now we have a date range here. Notice in the balance sheet, you recall that we only had one date up here because the balance sheet is as of a point in time, and this is as of a time frame. So we need a beginning and ending date. Easiest way to change those manually is to hit tab, and it goes right into that date window. And we want 10/1 to 10/31. So I'm going to say 10/01/14 tab 10/31/14. If we hit tab, it should refresh automatically. If we doesn't, I click down in the report, it should refresh automatically. And or you can click this refresh button up here that should refresh the screen automatically. Alright, and then number 3 says click the Customize Report, and guess what we're going to do? We're going to go to the Header and Footer tab and then uncheck the Date Prepared, Time Prepared, and Report Bases, which should become somewhat routine while working these problems. Here's what we're getting rid of. We're going to go to the Customize Report here. We're going to go to the Header and Footer tab there, and we're going to uncheck the Date Prepared, Time Prepared, and Report Bases. Going to remove these items for this report. And check boxes and then select OK. So I'm going to select OK. Those have then been removed. Number 4 then says click the Collapse button on the View Figure 3.1 and then scroll down the income statement. This report summarizes revenue and expenses for this month. Notice that QuickBooks Accounts does not use the standard accounting term revenue, but instead uses the term income. Subtotals are included for revenue and expenses. Observe also the period specified for this particular report, 10/1/10/31, the span of this report period. Alright, so we're going to go back over here. We're going to hit the collapse button. So up here we can see this collapse. The subcategories will then collapse, giving us a shorter report. We have the income minus the cost of goods sold, gives us the gross profit, and then we have total ordinary income, total expenses, gives us the net ordinary income minus other expenses, gives us the net income at the bottom here. What they're referencing here is that a lot of times we will call the revenue section. They're calling it the income section. Same thing, just a little bit different of the terminology in QuickBooks from some traditional accounting type of formatting. And again, we really need to know that so we can then, if we go to the CPA firm or if we're getting audited, we need to know, or if we're the auditor, which happened to me many times. I learned the financial statements before learning the software. When I went to go audit people, I would ask for things like an income statement, and I've had people tell me I don't have an income statement, but we have a profit and loss. Well, those are the same thing. So we're going to have to learn the terminology either side of the table that we're on, whether we're creating the financial statement so we can present that to others, and if we are asking for financial statements from individuals. Alright, so I'm going to scroll down here. We see that, and you're going to pause this and read through the information. We're now on page 45, and I'm going to skip to the gray area, which has another objective of to revise the period of time and report title. So then we're going to change from date on the previous created income statement to 1114 to 12/31/14, and then select refresh. So I'm going to change the from date 01/01/14 just like that without any dashes or anything. I'm going to hit tab and it should format as we want it to 12/31/14 and hit tab, and then it should refresh. I'm going to click down here to make sure it did. You can also click refresh up here as well to make sure that it did refresh. So now if we look at this little screenshot, we can see that they have the 620 and the 8582 for a 98,609.86. That is the net total income, 98,609, sorry, 86. So it looks like we have the correct numbers here, so that is good. So then we're going to say to change report title, click the customize report, and then click the header and footer. So the report title is currently profit and loss. I actually already changed it in mine, so I'll show you how to change it. It's profit and loss, and we're going to change it to the more traditional income statement. And therefore, so if we go back here, I already made the change, but let's see where that change was. We're going to go to the customize report tab up here. We're going to go to the header and footer tab. We're going to change this from profit and loss to the income statement. And then we'll say OK. Then what we want to do is to click OK and then to memorize it. So then we're going to go ahead and memorize this. We already have our name set up as the location where we could memorize reports. We did that in a prior area. So if you don't remember how to do that, we went to reports, we went to memorize, and then we went to edit, and see our name should be in here. Here's my name. It'll be in alphabetical order. If you do not have that, you can hit this and you can go to edit or new group and then type your name in and hit OK, and that'll insert a new group. I'm going to close this, back to our report. Now that we have the group, I'm going to select memorize, and I'm going to replace it because I did this before as well. And new, and then I'm going to select here and I'm going to choose my name and then OK. I'm going to select OK, and there's already one in there, so it's telling me you already have one, so I'm going to select OK. If you don't already have one, you will then save it in that location. Alright, then I'm going to scroll down, and we then have the item on number 5 says save this report as shown in figure 3.1 as income statement in the memorized report group you create in the last chapter, and then click OK, then close the income statement. So I'm going to go ahead and print it in this case and save it to the Excel file for our purposes. So I'm going to say Excel, hit the drop down, create a new worksheet. And then we're going to get this. I'm going to create a new workbook. In this case, next time I'll put it to the existing workbook. So I'm going to create a new workbook. going to export. It should open Excel automatically. So here is Excel opened up. I'm going to make this large, and we have this tab here. I'm going to go to the page layout view, going to select OK. Then I'll have this tab. I'm going to go back to, and in this case, we know that the split option is going to happen. So I'm going to go to the View tab right here, and I'm going to go to the Windows group and select the Unsplit. So that'll unsplit and make it look more normal. Then I'm going to change the tab name by double-clicking on it and calling this the income statement. We'll just call it that, and I'll say 12.31. I'm going to go back to the normal view here, and then I'm going to go to File, Save As. We need to put this somewhere in case we need to upload it for homework. And I'm going to scroll down to the, I'm just scroll up to the desktop. Then we're going to scroll down to QuickBooks. I'm going to put it into week 1, and I'm going to make a new folder, and I'm going to call this Chapter 3. So Chapter 3. Going to put it in here. All right, and then I'm going to rename the tab. It's going to be Chapter 3 Docs or something like that, or Forms, and there is the data path. We're going to save that. Then we can close that if we want. If we don't have that option, once again, we go to File. We can also save as a PDF, or we can print it to a PDF. So I can save it as a PDF in this case as well, just to show that option. If we hit the desktop and scroll down to the QuickBooks file, going into week 1 and Chapter 3, then we can change the name here to Income Statement, and I'll put 1231. Save that. Those are 2 options to save those. We're going to go back and see what we have next. Scrolling down to page 47, you're going to pause, you're going to read through this. I'm going to skip to the gray areas. So it says the next objective, to create a comparative income statement for October and November. So from the Report Center, click the Company Financial, then double-click the Profit and Loss Standard. So we're going to go back. We're going to make a new one. We have this open, but I'm going to make a new one. I'm going to go to the Reports. I'm going to make this large. I'm going to go to the List item over here. If you're not in the Standard, make sure to go on the Standard tab or in Company and Financial here. We're going to open a new Profit and Loss Standard. So I'm going to open a new one, even though we had one open before, so that we can make new adjustments to it. So we have, and notice it's called the Profit and Loss, again, not an income statement. We're back to that. And number 2 then says, set the from date to 11/1 and the to date to 11/30. So we're doing the month of November, so I'm going to go tab 11/01/14, 11/30/14, tab, should refresh, could hit refresh to make sure, 11/1 to 11/30/2014. Then click collapse and then refresh. So they want us to collapse, that's this button right there. That should refresh automatically, you can see it changed, but then you can click refresh just to make sure. Then we want to go to click the Customize Report button and then check the previous period dollar change, percent change checkboxes located under the caption add sub columns. So we're going to add these items down there. So we're going to go back into here, going to go to Customize Report, and we had, let me just double check these items over here. We have the dollar change and the percent change. Then we're going to scroll down. I'm on page 48. Then says, number 4 says, click the header footer tab. And then what are we going to do? Uncheck date prepared, time prepared, and report basis once again. So header footer tab is up here. We've got the date prepared, time prepared, report basis, taking these items off once again there. Number 5, change the name of the statement from profit and loss to comparative income statement. And then we're going to statement and then right align it. All right, so we're going to go to here. We're going to change the profit and loss. We're going to delete that. I'm going to call it a comparative income statement, like so. And then we're going to go from the alignment to standard to right aligned like this. That changes this icon showing what will happen when we select OK which I assume we will do next. Yes, it says to go OK. So we're going to hit OK, and there we have the right alignment and